Hello and welcome to the second, isn't it? Second live writing session here on YouTube. Glad you could make it. Got two people, that's good. Um, so yeah, what's new? Oh, sorry, things are popping up all over the place here. I don't care. YouTube's just trying to teach us how to be a YouTuber, and I'm not really interested. Uh, so yeah, there we are. I think we're ready, aren't we? Yeah. So as you can see, I don't know if you were here last week for the first writing session, but I got rid of the blanket behind us. Just thought I'll stick with a white background. Bit of my son's artwork there. You might be able to see that. But yeah, so it's the same thing that we did last week. You know, creating this space to come along and create, really. And I know it's called the Worldwide Writers Club, and I said this last week, but you don't have to write. You can do whatever you want. So you can draw, you can paint, you can sculpt, you can do absolutely anything. But yes, but I write. So the prompt this week, all right, is, I don't know if you can, I never know which way to point. It's backwards, isn't it? I hope that isn't backwards to you, because it looks backwards to me. So this is our prompt. All right, so every great story starts with, and you can do with that what you will. All right, so that's the prompt. So you get your pen, your laptop, whatever you write with. So last week I chose to use pad and pen, which, you know, did the job. But this week I'm going to try something new. So I've got this, I mentioned it last week, I don't know if you were here, if you remember, I was on about the free write. So this is it. You can't do anything on it other than write. So I'm going to give this a go. I haven't got the music that I played last week. I had some funky background music that was a bit distracting to me. But I was trying to put music over the live stream for when we actually writing and creating. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, so it's just going to be a bit of ASMR or whatever you call it, ASMR, AMSR. I don't know. Put it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. So you'll just hear me clickety clacking on this. You can mute it if you want. You can play your own music. Put your headphones in, play your own music instead of listening to me bang on about silly stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be writing on. What else? I think that's probably it. So yeah, that's the prompt. So you can do whatever you want to do with it. Like I said last week, I usually go for my first line to be that, but you don't have to. Someone would say it, you know, it could be wrote in a letter that someone receives. So I think I'm going to spend 10 minutes just planning on where this is going to go, my story. So that's why I've got the pad and pen. Just a rough draft. I tried to do the whole just run with it last week, and yeah, it was okay. I know I said that I was going to do a readout, wasn't I, on Sunday. Apologies for that. I've been full of cold, so if you hear me sniffing and coughing and sneezing, I do apologise. But that's why I didn't do the readout, because it would have just been me sweating, coughing up loads of gunk. And it wouldn't have made for a very good video, I don't think. So yeah, so without further ado, let's grab yourself a coffee, water, tea, whatever you want. I've got coffee again, hopefully this week. It won't go cold, but it probably will. So let's start, shall we? So I don't know if you want to hear me talking all the way through. let us know in the comments. I'm not a very interesting guy. So, do you want to hear what I read last week? What I wrote last week in this session, rather than do a Sunday readout, because obviously we won't behind, aren't we? So I could do that. It's up to you. Let us know in the comments. I can read it out at the end if you want what I wrote last week. Or I can read it out now before we start. Give you a bit of a, you know, getting into the zone, so to speak. It's entirely up to you. Yeah, so I'm going to rough draft it in the pad. And if you can hear a funny noise in the background, mind, it's the dishwasher. Just to let you know, I'm in my YouTube studio / the dining room, which is right next to the kitchen. So yeah, hopefully, you know, set your story in the kitchen and you've got it, haven't you? So yeah, every great story starts with the sound of a dishwasher. There you go. You're on your way to a bestseller. Right, but yeah, just put in the comments, obviously, anything you want to know about the channel. It's obviously quite new. It's only our second writing session. Where you're from? It's a worldwide writers club, so it'd be great if there's people outside of the UK. Great that there's people in the UK as well joining. But yeah, so what time are we on? And if you see us looking up there, I'm also recording this on my phone. So I'm going to spend about 10 minutes planning what I'm going to write, and maybe half an hour writing, and you can hear me clickety clapping on my free write. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, just to let you know. Okay, didn't get this sent free, you know, because I've got loads of subscribers, 8 or 9 I think it is. But thanks for subscribing if you subscribe. But one day maybe they might send us something free, right? So yeah, let's have a look. So every great story starts with So everyone kind of starts differently, don't they? You can mute me if you want, by the way, if you're writing your little from the prompt. But I'm just I think I'm gonna think aloud why I do this, just so you know, maybe if you're a beginner and you don't really know how to come up with a concept for a story, you can hear me ramble on about how I do it and might give you some ideas. Or you might think, Steve, that'll never happen. Sorry I didn't even mention that. My name's Steve. As you can tell, I'm very new to this. So yes, and I host this channel. So yes, so I'll think aloud while I go through it, and you might pick up some tips. You might think, how do you get a story from doing that? I don't know. But yeah, everyone gets inspiration from everywhere, don't they? So every great story starts with every great story starts with. So you could have a few things. Pause it, by the way, if you don't want me to mute it even. If you don't want me to interrupt your train of thought, because I'm going to just mention a few places that you could go here. Alright, I'll do it in 3, 2, 1, muted. So you could go with anything, couldn't you? So every great story starts with a first line, a problem, could have a problem, that's a good job. An object, you could have an object or a place. Obviously every story's got the good guy and the bad guy, hasn't it? Well, not every story, but protagonist and the antagonist. And usually it's something happens or somebody wants something. That's kind of, you know, They say there's only 7 stories. I don't know if you've heard of that before. And every single story is just like a mishmash of all these 7 stories. So like rags to riches, riches to rags. The hero story goes on a quest, has to do something to get to the princess, and da 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 da. And obviously you can write whatever you want. So you can write, it could be a romance. So every great story starts with a first kiss. How's that? Yeah, there you go, Jackie Collins. Put that in your bestseller. Milton Boone, I don't know. Don't read a lot of romance. Every great story starts with, so you could have a horror. Every great story starts with an abandoned house. I don't know, I'm just picking things up the air here. Me, personally, I tend to write things about unsung heroes, redemption, revenge. Usually in a lot of my stories, there's only one or two characters. I don't have a great deal of characters. Quiet reads, I would say, which I'll get to at the end when I read mine out. Yeah, so there's a whole host of ways you can go with this. If you're drawing, painting, maybe you are, I don't know. You could paint an open book with the prompt on. Obviously I'm not an artist, so yeah. So this is where my brain goes. So usually a good thing as well is what if, to ask what if. So every great story starts with I might pick the problem. Alright, so we've got, I should have been writing this all that down actually, what I said, shouldn't I? So we've got problem, an object, a place, a hook. Yeah, like a fisherman. No. So you've heard this, no doubt, somewhere online, that your opening has to be a banger because you want the reader to continue reading. Yeah, you want them to say, oh, what happens next? So I think that's where I'm going to go with mine. Every great story starts with a hook. Let's have a look. And then you have to figure out, this is what I think, where my mind goes, is the main character going to be telling the story? Or is it going to be in third person? So someone looking in, the reader, looking in on that world that you've created, and they're watching this play out. So I think I'm going to do it in third person. How's that? I don't know why. Obviously, yeah, I feel the need to ask you all. So yeah, third person, let's do that. Scribble that down. Genre. So we've got, a great story starts with a hook. And you could change it. It doesn't have to be exactly that. All right, so you could mix it up a bit. Every great story I've read starts with, or every great story I've read always contains. You know, you can do with it what you will. It's not like concrete or anything. You're not getting marked on it, are you? Yet. But no, in serious, no. So it's going to be in third person. So I always go to life circumstances. I said this last week. But maybe this will expand as I start typing. Not sure. Might not. I might just write the prompt and then leave it at that. But I'm probably going to go from there. So now I'm thinking I need some kind of problem to arise, who it's about. I think I'm just going to have to start writing. That's what I'm thinking at the minute, and see where it goes. Now I've got a few things, a few ideas. Maybe I should let you pick the genre. But you might pick romance, and I wouldn't know where to start, I don't think. Because as you know, I'm not a professional writer. I just write for fun, as do many people. Right, I think I know where I'm going. I've literally just wrote down what we were talking about there, if you want to see. I don't know if you can see that. It's literally not much at all. There. See where it goes. So, got a little free write. So this is pretty cool. Like I say, all you can do is write on it. And I'm a slow write typer, so a two-finger kind of guy. Right, so I'll do a video on this actually. Maybe that's the way forward. I won't explain what it is right now. You know that it's a distraction-free writing tool, and I might do another video on it just to show you what it does. So you can mute that if you want. Or should I try and turn the microphone down? Or should I leave it? Nah, I'm just going to leave it. Just put in the comments if this gets on your nerves, and then next week I can either play some music or figure out how to play the music over the top. Yeah, let us know, all 5 people. That's the only thing about this. So sometimes you think you've clicked caps lock off, but you haven't. And then when you look, it's all in capitals, like it's shouting at you. Okay. Also, I tried to fix the lighting in this session from last week. The camera's still a bit shaky because it's on the table. Still using the good old webcam. Yeah. But yeah, I've got a little light over there because when I reviewed the footage last time, it got a bit dark toward the end, so I've just got a little light. Hopefully that's better than it was. Right then. Again, it's showing that as. Ugh. Here's a question for you. Names of characters. How'd you come up with names of characters? I've just picked one there, so I've gone for Eric Peterson. Very generic, isn't it? But that just popped into my head. But how do you do it? Do you just like that, just pick one and it sticks? Or do you really think about it? Sometimes I have been known to just really play around with names. I know, is it Stanley? Marvel, not DC, was he? Marvel. I know he has all the alliteration, doesn't he? So like Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, maybe all. That's a pretty cool thing to do. But say if I did that now, people would think I was copying them, wouldn't they? So a nod to Stan Lee. I honestly don't know where this is going. I feel like I'm just. It's almost like I'm walking on a bridge. Check this out. Walking on a bridge, but the next stone isn't there until I put my foot on it. Does that make sense? Like I'm nearly falling off the edge because I'm running out of ideas of where the story's going. But yeah, I'm like right on the edge of like just blankness. There you go. There's a great metaphor there, isn't it? You can have that one for free. Right then. So, do you want to know what it's about and what I was going for? Yeah, I mean, I could just read it on Sunday, couldn't I? Not that there's much to read, really, because I started and stopped. I hope yous are doing better than me. But this is the thing, isn't it, with this kind of prompt? So, well, not this kind of prompt, but this kind of exercise. sometimes you hear a prompt and your brain just goes bang, millions of ideas. You know exactly where it's going to go. And then sometimes you get a prompt and you're like, not really feeling this one. But I suppose it's all learning, all fun, isn't it? All using your imagination. Like I said last week, better than just sat on the sofa doom scrolling. So yeah. Um, Hopefully next week I'll be over this cold and be in a better place. 10 to, was it? Yeah, 10 to. Shall we have another 5 minutes? Right, in 5-10 minutes till 8 o'clock. And then I'll read out what I read last week. I still haven't got that email sorted out that I was going to do so that you can submit your writing to me and I can read them out on a Sunday if you wanted to, no pressure. But and then obviously they don't even have to be polished. You know, I think it was a Stephen King who said he wouldn't let his worst enemy read his first draft, and that's kind of what I'm expecting you to do. So you can polish it up a little bit if you want before you send me it, or you can just send me it. I'm just going to read mine out as is. It looks like I've got like a white glove on, doesn't it? Sorry. Yeah. So I'm just going to read mine out as is. All the mistakes and inconsistencies in there. Because obviously it was just for this. It wasn't for any kind of professional. I wasn't going to send it off to a publisher or anything like that. Maybe one day. But yeah, for now, shall we give it another 10 minutes of writing? And then I'll read mine out and we'll wrap it up. Right then. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I struggled with that one, but maybe the concentration wasn't fully there. But yeah, I've got a kind of an idea where it was going. But yeah, sunlight. Cool. Yeah, hope you's had more success with that. Like I said, this week I shall get the email sorted so you can submit your stories if you want to. And then on the Sunday, you never know, you might get a shout out. Marianne can listen to it in the graveyard and what have you when she's walking around looking for names. Stop waving that around. Did that a lot last week. But you know, it's all, you know, learning and just fun, see where you go with things. Yeah, I've left this one on a bit of a cliffhanger. So yeah, I'm not going to dabble with it or anything like that. I'm just going to leave it because I want it to be rough and a bit all over the place. Just for the people who are beginning, you might start writing and you think that's terrible. And I want to show you that because obviously these are first drafts where you would write them, wouldn't you? Awful stuff. You'd write them like that, and then you'd pick pieces out, you'd put pieces in when you were editing the whole thing, and then you'd polish it and you'd make it great and amazing. Or you'd scrap the idea completely and you'd think, I'm never writing again. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You just got to persevere, you know, and practice makes perfect, so they say, don't they? So, yeah, and obviously Stephen King and J.K. Rowling, they didn't just get a prompt and someone say, right, you've got an hour, go, and then they produced, 8 volumes of Harry Potter or Misery or The Shining. They sat down for months, didn't they? Weeks and months, probably years, J.K. Rowling. But yeah, so that's why I'm not gonna, when I read them out, I'm just gonna leave them as they are, just for the people who might struggle. Just to encourage them to say, look, I don't produce great stuff, but And then what I might do, I could read it out, couldn't I? And then I could return to it. I could polish it up, edit it, and then show you what it looks like in a couple of weeks. Could do that. That might spur you on a little bit. But yeah, thank you for attending. So, really enjoyed it again. Hope you have. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You have to say that, don't you? But yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbours, tell the milkman, tell the people in the graveyard, Marianne. Alright. But yeah, that's it. I'll get that email up and running. I'll put a thing on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, when I've done that. And I shall see you next week. Okay then. Thanks for attending the Worldwide Writers Club. I'm Steve Chaplin. And you've been great. Keep writing. Bye bye.